This is the 247th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the last week of July 2016. This episode is titled Lightning Round. CloudFocus Weekly is brought to you by Clone This User. Clone an existing Salesforce user with a click of a button by the desktop or on Salesforce One Mobile. Available for free on the App Exchange or go to www.clonethisuser.com. Been getting a lot of play lately in the Clone This World user, so that's nice. But joining me, which is also nice, for 247 times in a row, Justin Edelstein. I even forgot to say who I was, and I'm Jason Atwood. Boy, it's been a long time.
No one cares.
Talk about rusty.
No one cares.
So, are we making a name change to the podcast? Are we just going to call it CloudFocus Podcast or CloudFocus Review or CloudFocus Periodic? Still not going to do that.
I like that one.
CloudFocus periodically?
Like from time to time.
After time.
I like whenever.
CloudFocus whenever.
CloudFocus when we feel like it.
When we feel like it. Well, we feel like it, so we got tons. What happens, there is two engines that run under the Arkus banner or on the blogosphere. There's our podcast, which was supposed to be a weekly podcast, and then we'd have a blog a week, and then a podcast. We talk about the blog of the week, and then we'd have the podcast and another blog. But what happens is if you stop doing the podcast for periods of time, the blog doesn't stop. In fact, it's actually picked up pace. So it's now there's more blogs. Even there's more than one a week. Sometimes there's two. So there are a ton of blog posts to go over. So we'll go over a bunch of them. We'll kind of, maybe we'll dig into some. We'll not dig into others, depending on the content. But we'll talk about all of them. There's tons of Salesforce. They're all Salesforce ones. So that's good. And then what we didn't talk about last time was WWDC, which feels so far off again, but we'll maybe kind of go over the hits, the tops, and talk about that. And then you and I, was it last week?
Yeah.
Last week went to the MVP gathering. It's not a summit, which is a public thing, although some of the stuff they showed us cannot be talked about, but we can talk about some of the things they did talk about. And maybe more bring that into a Lightning conversation. Lightning is there's some changes coming to Lightning. Some have been talked about. We'll talk about those. And you and I have been spending more and more time in Lightning. And
yes,
you literally just came out of spending by 2 hours configuring in Lightning.
A few hours, yeah.
There you go.
I configured in Classic
to go into
Lightning.
Lightning.
Then I went over and checked it out.
So let's kick it, and we'll do our picks of the week, and then we'll get out of here. So let's start with our blog, our lightning round of blogs. We'll start with the oldest and go to the newest.
This is like a marathon of blogs.
It's a marathon. So the first one up,
plethora of blogs.
We actually have two first-time bloggers inside of our blog this time.
Inside of our blog block.
Our block of bloggers. I'm not going to say this every time, so I'll say it once, but the blog is at blog.arkusinc.com. So if you want to read any of these, that's where you go, and then you can kind of just scroll down and go back. In fact, I think the blog this month is now 6 years old, and so is this podcast is 6 years old now.
Man, is it really?
Yeah, we started them both in July.
Wow.
July 2010.
That's why we're CloudFocus whenever. Because it's like 6 years. Come on.
Like, whatever.
Give us a break.
Yeah. This is like, if we like going to college. This is our 6th year of college.
Yeah.
We're super seniors.
We take one class.
Maybe.
It's
phys ed. It's tennis. It's underwater basket weaving.
It's at night. It's once a week.
Love those classes. So, first blog post by James Bajold, our newest blogger, called "Extending Your Salesforce UI with Squid." So, for those who don't know,
what's this? Squid.
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 Squid. S-Q-U-I-D. It's a squid.
Squid.
I think it has something to do with UI, but maybe not.
Must.
So
why
it is
else would you name it that?
It's an application that you install inside of Salesforce that allows you to build custom interfaces inside of Salesforce for doing things that are normally you would need to use, Visualforce and Apex to do. So, but it allows you to sort of do it with a WYSIWYG designer. Kind of something, once you see it and use it a little bit, you think, why didn't Salesforce just buy this and make this a platform play? Because it seems like this would be a very powerful thing. Although I don't know what Squid's plan for Lightning is, but it's a so this blog post talks about what it is and how to set it up and why you would use it. Does it get into pricing?
No.
It doesn't get into pricing. So it's not free. It's not cheap either.
It's $30 a user a month.
$30 per user per month.
Yeah, that's anyone who would access a Squid page.
A Squid page, right. It's again, you've used it a little bit. I haven't used it all. I've seen the demos and stuff like that. What are your thoughts?
It's a steep barrier to entry, in my opinion. But once you get it, and then things become easier. So I imagine I know it's a less steeper curve than getting into true Apex and Visualforce development and Lightning component development. But it's still breaking down all the things that you already know about Salesforce and sort of having to throw those off to the side, because you do have to create your data. You have to create a model. You have to create a data model inside of Squid for the page to reference. You then have to snap components together within the page and tie it to those models and actions and things that you build and put together. And you can use your own styles. I think their answer for Lightning is going to be they'll just have the Lightning design system as a CSS framework, and that'll be that.
Right.
All of their stuff is running in a JavaScript library, just sitting on top of Salesforce inside of a Visualforce page as a container. So it's just, I feel like they could do that if they wanted to. They already handle mobile pages and things like that. Interesting stuff. I mean, it's a weird conundrum, because it's more configuring, less coding, though there's still some aspects of it that you have to understand what you're doing in there to a certain extent, like as a developer. And it's like, why you have to ask yourself, should I pay a perpetual license? And am I gonna do more and more with this tool, or should I just build this once?
Right.
And is this page that I made gonna evolve a zillion times over the next couple of years, or is it a pretty much set in stone? This is how this page works.
Do I want someone who knows how to do Squid to update that, or do I have a developer? I think the thing is, if you had your own resources, your own development, Salesforce developer resources, so who could do Visualforce and Apex, it's like, well, then you have them, and you have them on house, and you could just say, build me the stuff that I want to build, and you build it custom, and you maintain it. If you don't, you have more business users, you don't have that resource, you don't want to pay this sort of big upfront cost, then this is more an example. I don't think, they may have customers who have thousands and thousands of licenses in an org, but it would seem like that's when it would get prohibitive, because then the one-time cost of building something versus the ongoing, right? If you did like 10,000 customers in an org.
Yeah. I don't want to speak for Squid, but I have to imagine if 10,000 people were... If you have a 10,000 person org and everyone needed access to Squid, I don't know what would happen to the price, but let's assume that it would come down. Price.
Right, because that'd be $350,000 a month.
Yeah. I mean, they also have...
You can build a lot.
They have a 10% discount for nonprofits, which makes it $27 a month.
Right. So a couple more clients have used it. It's an interesting tool. Definitely go read up more on it on the blog post, and we'll move on to the next one, because we got a lot to talk about.
We do.
Next one is it's a question. So this is Holly Ryle. I always mess up everybody's names.
Royale.
I'm going to start calling myself Atwood and mess mine up. What is Omnichannel for Salesforce? Is her blog post. So really just a kind of an overview. So, obviously you can go read help files, but this is sort of talking about how you would use it, what would you would use it for, examples and things like that. Because I think sometimes when you go into the Salesforce help, or you look at, it's like it doesn't give you a good overview. It kind of thinks, well, here's how to set it up, but it's not like telling you, like there's one line that tells you why you would use it, but not like many lines. So this is a good overview to kind of get you like, oh, okay, all right, I get what Omnichannel is. As because it's now, it's now gone out it's very much GA, right? So it came out winter 16.
That's a year ago. almost. I mean, in reality, this has been around for about 2 years, right? Or a year. 1 year.
One year.
Been around for.
Yeah, for about, well, not even a year. But so, I mean, the way I describe it to people is sort of the difference between pulling work and pushing work. So if you think about a service agent and having work, going into a list view and saying, I accept that case, or going into a lead, list view and saying, I'm going to take ownership of that lead and taking it and working it. This is more saying, flipping a switch and saying, I'm available for work.
I'm free.
And then
I'm
work,
available for phone calls.
and then work comes to you. Well, that's the IVR model, which is, so if you understand IVRs and the way that works, like that you log into your phone and you say, I'm here, and your phone starts to ring, that's what this is, but it's for Salesforce work, not phone work. So definitely interesting. Has lots of use cases. It is built into Service Cloud, though, right? So it's part of the Service Cloud.
And sales. It's part of the console, I think.
But it's part of a separate licensing.
Yeah, but it's used for leads as well. So it's not just service, because it assigns leads.
But meaning it doesn't come with standard with Enterprise.
That's not what you said, but yes.
Meaning it's a
after
separate
the fact,
license.
Correct.
Okay.
But it is part of a console. So you either need Service Console or Sales Console.
You're saying that with absolute surety? Because, a lot of people get Sales Console now for free.
It's that's what it is. I mean, it is a component of the console. I don't see where it lives outside of the console.
Right, but you're saying that Omnichannel comes with Sales Console?
Oh, the actual Omnichannel feature itself comes with Sales Console? I don't know.
I'm gonna go with no.
I could look it up.
Yeah, you can look it up.
I think I will.
We should know that.
We should know that.
We should know that.
Let's know that.
Let's
and
know
I'm
it.
gonna go know that. And
I'll just keep talking.
Going.
All right, so
we'll talk and
go read that.
I'll look it up.
Go read that, and I'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Next one got a lot of conversation going, let's say, and this is by Roger Michal. So if I just mess up everybody's name,
just gonna mess everyone's
well, if I
name
mess them
up.
all up, then no one knows why I'm messing it up. Do I actually not know their last name, or am I just being funny?
That's fair.
So this came about. Roger wanted to, and Roger likes to write more of the technical blog posts for us because he tends to be more technical. But a Maven's Mate, which is a development environment that plugged in to Salesforce and had a nice, a lot of developers were starting to use. I guess they suspended their development. The blog post saying, hey, I'm not going to work on this for a while. It sounds like it's not forever, but it made Roger go, ooh, well, if this one IDE is kind of stopping, I need to go look at others, and maybe that's a great blog post. So he went and wrote Comparing IDEs for Salesforce Development. So, and it's it's not even worth, I can't go through it because he literally goes through and does pros and cons for each single one. He talks about Maven's Mate, the Force.com IDE plugin, a side.io, even ones I've never even heard of in my life, and including ones that you definitely know about, like he talks about Development Console. And so it really, really well thought out, well written, a great comparison, the kind of thing that's good for about a year, and then, of course, there'll be 17 more of these things. But if you're looking for, hey, why should I use one or the other, or what are people using, this is a good start. And then if you look at the bottom, he has tons of people in here commenting and going, hey, what about this? What about this? Have you checked out this? So it's quite funny. A lot of discussing at the bottom of the...
I love when there's discussing.
Yeah, so that's nice. So if you didn't know you could do that, yes, you can comment. And he generally comments back. Although I don't see, he hasn't posted all of these. Let's see, has he? Oh, no. We'll have to talk about that. So, but anyway, screenshots, all that. Good blog post. The funny thing is I had just set up and started using Maven's Mate about 2 weeks before the news came out. I was doing something. I forgot what I was doing. I was looking for conga buttons in an org.
So I have the answer.
Oh, what's the answer? We're going to go back.
Well, you were originally correct, I think. So I don't see it as part of the Sales Cloud offering at all.
It's not.
So it's part of the Service Cloud Lightning Edition, Omnichannel routing, and then in parentheses it says Basic, and it's available in Professional, Enterprise, and Unlimited.
Right, as a separate add-on.
No.
As a Service Cloud license.
Correct.
Right.
But then it doesn't have, like, it's got in these parentheses Basic, but it also doesn't have, like, an asterisk saying advanced. Like, where's the advanced version?
There is no advanced. You don't want to use the advanced.
All right, so that's a thing.
Well, we have to keep going because we have many more blog posts to handle.
All right. Well,
especially the next one.
I want to give out some, like, actual, like, real knowledge.
So what you're saying is you're wrong. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah, good.
Let's just stop the
IDEs
podcast.
compared. Good. Done.
All right.
Use them.
Next up is...
lots of discussing.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, lots of discussing. Next up is one by a very famous blogger, Jason Atwood. He's French. And it's very simply Slack versus Chatter.
In this corner.
I know. This came up because internally we use Slack here at Arkus, and we also use Chatter.
What?
And we used Chatter for a long time since Chatter's been out there. But we've only been using Slack for going on about a year now. So it was really, I think some of the what does one do better? What's good about this? Why would you use this? So I gave a little bit of the history of each one, and then I kind of said what I thought were good use cases for it, and what I thought were sort of not good use cases for it. Right? The instant nature and the awareness of Slack is very good. The record retention, where things are, importance, long-term longevity, persistent information is better about Chatter. So that's where I broke them out. But anyway, so you can go read that one. So that's Slack versus Chatter, also up. And Mike Saldi retweeted. I thought that was nice. Thanks, Mike.
That was very nice.
That was very nice. Next up, another new blogger. How can I mess this one up? Ryan Ryan Owens writes a blog post about a new product, or not semi-new.
Is this really semi-new? I feel like it's been around a while. It's semi-new to us.
Well, semi-new to this blog post. So talking about SDocs for Salesforce. So his first talking about it's a competitor. So if you know Drawloop, you know Conga. This is sort of a competitor to those two. But as he points out, very in bold letters, it's unlike those two. It is 100% native. I'm pretty sure Drawloop's not 100% native.
No, I don't. I think they all have to go out to actually generate the document and come back.
But not this one.
Not this one.
Right. So he kind of does a review of it, telling you what you can do. He did break my rule of having more than two, more than one.
It's been around for about 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
Why are we just hearing about this? I've heard about it before.
No, I think it's probably just grown up.
Right.
It's got 143 reviews on the App Exchange.
That's a lot.
4.5 stars. So that's pretty good.
And what is the pricing on the App Exchange?
It says free.
It's free. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but didn't want to say it before I.
Free with up to 2 templates. So you can get 2 templates for free. If you need more than 2, give them a ring.
Right. That's a good. It's a freemium model. Freemium model.
Also optimized for Salesforce 1. I guess if you're native, you can do that. I guess. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing on the
I'm not talking about that.
All right.
Not at all.
What, you're not talking about the mobile and generating documents on the mobile device?
I'm not talking about that.
It's pretty cool.
I decided not to talk about that. So
you
SDocs,
click a button and email a document out on a
SDocs for
device.
Salesforce. I don't run my business from my phone.
Well, I do it from my watch, so I don't care.
Yes, well, that's very important.
Generally speaking, I generate most of my documents from my watch.
Next up and last blog post.
Breezing right through.
I'm trying.
Yeah, all right.
We don't have unlimited time here, kid. So we have Ashley Leifer. See, I'll do it to everybody. It just makes it seem like I'm doing the joke when I'm just not pronouncing people's names correctly. Does form products that integrate with Salesforce. So if you have ever wanted to, one of the, I think, major gaps in Salesforce functionality is sort of semi-built, which is, hey, I want to have data come into Salesforce from outside of Salesforce, but I want it native.
Right.
So you can do that in two ways. You have the web to lead, awesome, and you have the web to case, awesome. And then I guess you could throw an email to case as another way of data coming in. That's really it. You don't really have a lot of options for getting data in. I guess there's worlds and sites and things like that. But it's kind of a missing feature, sort of web to anything. I've seen products before in the past that do this type of thing. But she reviews basically looks at 3 different versions or 3 different types of forms. There
are so many of these, it's not even funny. We could write this blog post for the next 3 months.
It's a huge missing feature, so I think a lot of people have gone after it. She does talk about form assembly, which is the one that we actually ClickTools too, but form assembly that we do a lot with. They have a very nice product, and Survey Gizmo and ClickTools. So those are 3 form products that integrate with Salesforce. So she reviews them. She talks about what's good, what's not, what's the different types. Because again, it's sometimes not just about getting data into Salesforce. It's about how to present it outside of Salesforce, and does it come into one or multiple objects? Or right, there's all sorts of stuff that you should consider. So that's why you should read the blog post. Again, all that on blog.arkusinc.com. And we out for blogs. And I think there's another one coming up, and oh man, and we're about to get into. Wow, the next set's going to be very Dreamforce-y and very Winter 17-y.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to that pretty quickly. Sooner than later.
I feel like Winter 17-y is going to be out there really soon.
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
Speaking of which,
yep.
Let's talk about something that didn't happen pretty soon, but actually happened over a month ago.
I forgot everything that happened at this thing.
Well, good thing that I linked to an article that kind of talks about it.
Oh, thanks, dude.
So I go off the main thing that didn't happen was hardware, and I was very surprised. So WWDC, for those we're big Apple fanboys here, love the Apple. WWDC is sort of their Dreamforce. Hey, I'm making an analogy to Salesforce. Is their Dreamforce, and they do sessions, and it's for developers, but I feel like it's become a place where they announce a lot of stuff. This time they got very specific, really stuck to really just software, but made some pretty big announcements in the software thing. They basically announced 3 different versions, 3 different new software versions, the new WatchOS, or 4. New WatchOS, new tvOS, the macOS, and new iOS. macOS is a big deal because it's now changed. It's not OS X. So those are kind of some of the fun things. New features on all of them. I mean, just from on the watch, you'll be able to hit an SOS that will be able to contact people and tell the police and emergency vehicles, to a lot coming to messages. I mean, messages is growing up big time.
Messages is a big one.
They're just hidden things.
They're just taking things that everyone's been doing, and they're like, yeah, we'll just build this into our stuff.
Siri on Mac OS, so on your desktop.
Cortana.
Which would be cool.
I don't know how cool that'll be, but we'll see.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to tell my computer to do something for me. The biggest thing for me was walk up to the computer and it just wakes up because my watch is on my wrist.
Yes.
That's all I
logs you
care
in. That's
about.
pretty good.
That was the best thing for me. I'm like, sweet. I know I locked my computer, so great, wake it up.
Right. I mean, just tons of stuff they announced.
tvOS, the future of TV.
Well, that should be the feature that you absolutely love, is the log into one app, so you can log in. So now, we're
keychain.
Yes, you log into one place. You authenticate with your cable provider, and then all the apps that work.
It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
For those of us who use other people's logins,
correct.
Well, clearly that's why they did it.
Right, but it's good. I mean, the only part where it wouldn't be good is when your cable provider doesn't support the app, which is, I hate when that happens.
Right.
It's becoming more and more rare.
Speaking of, do you know any? Do you remember it? Do you know any now that don't support?
It used to be terrible. Now it's just all right, they're all just supporting
ESPN
this
didn't get supported on ours.
Yeah, but now it's all good.
Everything
Showtime, HBO, all of them. FX, USA. I've got a ton of these apps. But you know what's funny is like, well, Amazon's still not on there.
But But
I have a TV that I have the Amazon app on my television.
Me too.
I'm starting to wonder, like, is Apple TV just a nicer experience for these apps? Because the TVs seem to be able to support the stuff. Like, I have a huge button on my remote that says Netflix. And it's like, all right, well, if the experience was as nice as it is on the Apple TV, then I would not have the need for an Apple TV because my television actually can support these things.
But it can't support the things that Apple TV can support, which are actual apps, games, and iTunes. So iTunes is where, sure, your TV can have all that stuff, but I'll always have an Apple TV because even if all that other stuff I do on my TV, by the way, my TV, when I got one, 6 months ago.
I have the Roku just for Amazon, and then I'm like,
I got rid of my Roku, but the experience of using the app on the TV is pretty bad. My experience, it just doesn't feel as good, work as good, navigate as well.
Apple should just build a TV.
Yeah, I don't think they want to because I don't think they want to be in that hardware. Well, they actually, the breaking news, they discontinued their desktop display, like they don't make monitors anymore. Now, there's rumor that they'll come back and make them again, but they don't make monitors anymore. They don't make the Thunderport display, whatever, which I have. There's a stack of them around here. I'm glad we picked up a lot of the refurbed ones before they stopped making them, but, I mean...
Whatever, just a monitor.
Yeah. Something that I stare at every day of my life.
It's just a monitor, though. I'm sure there are plenty of nice replacements.
Yeah,
like you said. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
It's a no.
I'm sure.
Oh, when's the last time you bought a monitor? Oh, that's right. You haven't in probably 10 years.
I don't know.
Exactly. When is the last time you shopped or looked for monitors or looked at features and saw?
I don't. I just get the Apple one because I'm ignorant. But I'm certain that there are monitors out there that do just fine.
There's a lot of features that are built into an Apple monitor that made it work with the Apple desktop laptops much easier.
Clearly, they sold so many of them that they just keep continuing the line.
No, they just didn't update them for about 4 years, and I think what happened is they were running out of the amount of them, and so they just said, we'll just discontinue it. Unless they stop making iMacs, which is basically what that thing is, they continue to make the screen. So I think they're gonna come back. They were very behind. That was the problem. So now it's all 4K and things like that. So they're gonna come back with another model. It'll be 4K. It'll have all this built-in stuff. My guess is it'll be built in with the new C connector, and it'll be launched alongside the new MacBook Pro. That's my prediction.
And don't forget the Mac Pro. And that's where it really belongs, right?
I want on the MacBook Pro.
Well, understood, obviously, but it is a monitor. You can use your MacBook Pro without a monitor.
That is true.
By definition, it's in it of itself. It has a monitor.
By definition?
Yeah. The Mac Pro
yes,
is a box on the floor without a monitor.
We call it headless, yes.
Whatever. It doesn't do anything unless I have a monitor.
Right.
So how are you going to sell Mac Pros? Right?
I think that's why it's kind of I know they're going to come back with one. I'm very surprised. They like to control top to bottom. So anyway, so that's all stuff about WWDC. Again, I think the other interesting piece is that they've gotten much more open about these things. So they don't, like, you can get all the new versions. So OS X or Mac OS Sierra, the new OS, a lot of these things are in beta, and you can just try them. They never used to do that. I think it makes their software better because obviously, if 1 million users use the beta version, then you're going to kick out some of the bugs. I think I still don't because I use this machine too much to do things, and I can't have it not work. I wish I had like a little side machine. I could be, let's go throw the beta on it.
I have the developer account, so I could have downloaded it whenever that was, that day that they announced it.
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna stay away from the beta.
It's not usually the OS that gives me the fits. It's some app that I very much rely on that doesn't work under that OS.
Sure.
And that's the piece that I'm like, uh-oh. So you can hook it up and you can put it on USB drives or whatever. I I used to do it. I used to do every time, go bleeding edge. Now I'm a little bit more conservative.
You know what we need to do is just get you like a MacBook Air just to play around with.
Well, we have extra MacBooks around. I could just throw it on one of those. But again, it's okay. So you see it work for 2 minutes. You play with Siri. Is that really, whatever? Okay.
I think that's going to be the whatever for Siri just in general. I really can't see myself talking to my computer.
Well, you talk to your TV now.
I talk to my TV now. That is true, but only because it's terrible to type. I'm very fast at typing. I could probably type faster than it would take Siri to do whatever it has to do.
Yeah.
You know, my command space start typing stuff is definitely faster than saying, "Hey Siri," waiting for it to maybe wake up or not, and then, going into spinning mode on, sending data somewhere to get me back. I don't know. I just don't see how that thing is going to really benefit my life.
I kind of agree. I'm not big at it.
My watch did wake up though when I said, "Hey Siri," and it said, "I'm not sure I understand."
Thank
you.
Doesn't understand you not understanding. All right, well, let's talk about the final thing, which is give a shout out to the MVP community. We were lucky enough to be hosted for the MVP Not Summit in Chicago.
Yes.
Which was, again, a public thing because it was definitely tweeted and whatevered about.
It was right before Midwest Dreamin'.
Right before Midwest Dreamin'.
In Chicago.
And it was a 2-day affair for Salesforce and to meet with the Salesforce MVPs, of which there are about 200 of them now, but I think only 150 were there or so.
149 was the
official count. And it's a way to kind of use it as a dual sessioning, I would say. We want to hear from you because you guys are people who are deeply in the community and user group leaders and podcasters and bloggers and answerers of a billion questions on the Idea Exchange or on the questions and answers boards and discussion boards and Stack Exchange, and your developers, you're very in tune. So we want to hear from you about what's going on, and we also want to use you as guinea pigs to show you stuff and to hear like, hey, we're looking to develop X, so fill out surveys and work with us in workshops and build and help build stuff and really help give the feedback to the product manager. So there were a bunch of product managers there, and we went through this whole, sort of a show and tell, and then let's do some actual kind of.
Everyone put your product manager hat on.
Yes.
And let's play a game.
We played some games. That was kind of fun. I think and Parker was there. That was awesome because it's I think a pretty stunning thing for someone that high up in a company to come spend the day and. With the group. My big takeaway was
don't get fired.
Look, I can't get fired.
Don't get fired.
Oh, you mean get kicked off MVP?
It's just general term. Don't get fired.
My big takeaway was that this was a chance for Salesforce and the MVP to meet about, in not a summit way, but to really meet about Lightning, because my gut feel and the general gist of the world that most long-term Salesforce MVP type people are not such big fans. We haven't really adopted as much as they would like. We haven't really taken it, right? And we're not screaming from the top of the mountains that Lightning's the greatest thing ever. We've sat here in this room and not said that, and it's a huge change. People don't like change. It's a huge UI shift. No one likes UI shifts. And there were things about it that just didn't seem right, seemed off, seemed wrong. It's slower. It doesn't work as well. There's things that you can't do in it that I can do in Salesforce. So this was a chance for Salesforce to kind of say, hey, we've heard you, and we're going to do, here's what we're doing about it, right? Here's what's coming up in the next couple releases. Here's things that we've rethought. Here's things that we're going to reverse on, and we're sorry. Hey, that whole, side nav thing, well, we're sorry. That sucked. We're gonna do something different. So my general take was it was great because it gave us sort of a view into what's going on and what's coming. I learned some stuff about things in Salesforce, about the Lightning. There's a great app inside of Lightning or inside the setup that you can click and it will go through your entire org. It actually uses Heroku, and it'll come back and give you this big PDF. I ran it for our org and tell you all the reasons.
Are we lightning ready?
Nope. No, we have too much stuff.
We're definitely not.
We're not lightning ready. So that's what was. So I learned about that. It was great to talk to some of the product managers, some of which I've talked to for years, and have arguments about things like person accounts, which are fun. But I think overall I came away feeling good because I realized that this big behemoth company, now 20,000 people and whatever, does actually pay attention to what we're saying, does get it when they've made a mistake, and is willing to kind of eat a little crow and be like, okay, maybe this didn't come off the way we wanted to, but we're going to now try to make it better. And I saw a lot of stuff that I think will make it better. I can't talk about any of it, of course, but I saw some stuff that I think will be even better than Aloha. That there were features and things they showed us in Lightning that I was like, oh, that actually gets me to want to be on the other side, to flip the switch. Whereas every time I flip the switch, I spend 5 minutes trying to figure out how to do anything, and then I flip back. Whereas some of these features were like, whoa, okay, ooh, I want to do that. I want to be in Lightning to use that feature. And when I'm not in Lightning, I'm going to miss that feature. And I think that was the shift that I saw. What are your thoughts? Don't get fired.
I don't know if I could do my thoughts without getting fired.
Well, you did have an up-close personal talk with Parker.
I did.
You did do. All right, maybe you shouldn't.
I did grab him.
You did try to.
I did physically assault. No, I did not physically assault, but I did pull Parker aside for a couple minutes
to give him a little thoughts.
To give him a few of my own thoughts.
I mean,
they're
very
stay between myself and Parker.
Those thoughts, I'll just give overview. Those thoughts are very specific to us.
They're specific to us
as a company,
and as a partner who delivers Salesforce to Salesforce customers.
Right. And I think
the relationship between the customer, us, and Salesforce, and where Lightning fits in between that triangle.
Say no more.
Holy Trinity.
Say no more.
Right.
It sits right in the middle.
It sits right in the middle, and it
shouldn't sit anywhere near it.
Super fun.
Yeah.
So I came away from. I mean, it's hard to talk about this stuff because you're so under super NDA and I can't remember what's in the release in public, what's not. I'm not going to talk about features.
No, but just to say this. So if you went in the day before, Sunday, before we went.
Yeah.
And
Tuesday night.
You felt, let's go to Wednesday, give you a day to take it all in.
Okay.
So you went in on Sunday feeling about Lightning X.
Yeah.
Lightning Experience, Lex.
Right.
And then on Wednesday, you came out feeling, would you say you had a better understanding and or feeling about it? Less, more? Do you feel better, worse, or no change?
So understanding, I felt better. I understood what they were trying to do and where trying to go.
Right.
I did feel better about that. And there were some things, like you said, and I think for you and I, there were probably the same things that I saw that were very, very exciting.
Yes. There's some new paradigms.
That's some just stuff that we've been wanting forever. And it's like, well, here it is.
Right.
And it's like, that's cool. Thank you.
People are listening this is really just, this is a tease.
Sorry, guys. And
gals.
Ladies. I'm... So from an understanding perspective, but I still didn't come away... I think I was net neutral on the whole.
Really,
whole
even
event.
seeing all the sort of feedback that's been taken, the changes that are coming, you didn't feel
great, but I know what the product is now. And it's been through a couple releases already, and I have to just think about my own confidence in how it's going to actually be rolled out, and the confidence in the actual delivery of the product, because I've now been working in it. We have one single client that uses it.
Well, it's because they have to.
They want to.
Okay.
No.
They do want to? All right.
They won't use it if it's not. Just because they don't like the way Classic looks.
Ugh.
They need to be visually...
Right.
Like it needs to look like Lightning. So, okay, fine. And I've been working in it, and I cannot tell you how often just error messages just pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
Just those random, like, error occurred, and then it, like a 35 character hash of letters and numbers with a code, and it's like, what were you doing?
Right.
And it's like, I clicked on something. Like, honestly, like, the answer is, like, very simple. Like, I clicked
used
this
my
link.
mouse
Yeah.
and I clicked on a link.
So my confidence level as far as the stuff I'm seeing that's coming is really cool, but at the same time, it's like, so how long do I have to live with these error messages?
Well, you don't, because you don't have to live in Lightning. That's the beauty.
That's the whole point, is like, keep building this stuff that's just in Lightning.
I ain't going until until the error messages. Well, two things are really keeping me away. Three things: navigation, speed, and errors. Those three things are keeping me away.
Navigation, we know, and winter's changing.
We know it's changing.
We know that, and that's public. It's
public
out there.
knowledge,
You can go look for the help article. It's out there. It's going to top nav. Go search for it. Salesforce Lightning top navigation Lightning or whatever. You'll find it.
Okay. Yeah.
The other stuff that takes time, and that's like full re-architecture, and it's slow.
That's what I'm saying. Slow.
And it's bug.
Well, but I trust, because this is a big development organization and they have done this stuff before. I trust that they will get it right. I think my only thing, I mean, basically, I just feel like this is just a marketing fail. This thing, Lightning, should have been released as a beta last year at Dreamforce and said, this is beta. This is the direction, and we want you to give us feedback. We want you to try it. We want you to try to break it. We want you to tell us everything wrong with it, because this is our direction. And we might change it. We might change what we do. We might make a whole nav and then delete a whole nav, but it is the direction. Here's why, right? Here's what the underlying architecture is going to do for you in the future, but we need your help as the overall community, as whatever. You're going to get Aloha. We're still going to develop in Aloha, but we want you to start trying it. It's beta, right? I think if they had done that, my perception, because your perception on things changes when someone says this is like not something that's prime time. It's not
Totally fair.
Right. And then I would have, every time I saw a bug, I'm like, oh, it's a beta bug. Or every time it was slow, I'd say, well, it's only slow because it's in beta. But when you release it as GA, say this is a new thing, and do all the marketing and all the licensing and all that stuff that they did around it, that was the fail, because it wasn't ready. It is buggy. It is slow. And it wasn't even right. Like, they got it wrong. They had to change basically the whole look and feel of it. I was watching videos the other day of Lightning and the whole nav, and I was like, yo, you're going to have to go redo that video too.
Yeah.
Oh, and that video, and that video.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. So if they'd done it under beta and kept it a little bit more, we're not sure, but we want your help, I think my feelings about it would have been better. So that's my kind of quick take. So anyway. All right, well, that was our experience. Thank you very much to everybody, or the MVP group, and to Salesforce for putting together. Again, I really enjoyed this thing, and I hope the feedback helps both ways. Next time, we'll have more blog posts, although only one or two. We'll talk about Dreamforce. There's some Dreamforce news out there. I don't think we've talked about that yet. There's also including podcasting news at Dreamforce, hot off the press. There's some purchases, some which are going to matter, some which don't, but we'll talk about those in sort of the cloud world and anything else that comes up. Because God knows it could be 6 months before when we podcast again.
We'll just talk to you at Dreamforce.
We have to be like 17 podcasts at Dreamforce to make our goal for the year.
No, it's not.
All right, let's do our picks. Do our picks. A quick pick.
Okay. I got sent a game.
What?
A game.
Madden?
No.
A real game?
I got sent a game.
Yeah.
By our bud Paul. And it's pretty addicting.
Okay.
It's called Octagon. A minimal arcade game with maximum challenge. It's like its little tagline. So it's on iOS. I don't know if it's on Android. I imagine it is. You basically it's like a gravity game. There's a ball on like a rail that's just moving forwards. And you have to keep the ball on the rail because the rail keeps shifting like to the left, to the right. And then Like you have to like jump because it'll flip, and there's like barriers in the way. So you just have to just move with your thumb this ball that just keeps going forwards, and it's just you just get trapped in it. It's like you just pull it up, you turn it on, you're like, it's like I gotta finish this level, and you can't. It's hard, and you just get stuck in it, and then all of a sudden you sort of get it, and you get to a certain point, you're like, oh, I had to jump and go left, and I went right. Whatever. It's fun. They're like, I guess there's a bunch of games like this. Octagon is like Temple Run, but on steroids, and with much cooler music and graphics. I don't even know Temple Run, but okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, I'm glad you woke up to like the the running games that there's like a billion of.
I know there's a billion of them, but I'm picking this one.
All right,
I like it.
That's awesome. I just like Pokemon Go. I'm intentionally not doing it because I can't have another game in my life. I can't.
I feel like I should do Pokemon Go just so I know what it is.
I know what it is.
It's all about.
I've seen it on a friend. I know what it's about. I just know it's a time suck.
I don't even know anything.
I
just know it exists.
Wait, can I just take that quote and just play that for you?
Whatever. Do whatever you want.
All right, so my pick. So yours is $1.99. It is Octagon. You can get it on iTunes. Mine is a kind of a weird. It's kind of an app. Whatever. It's called ZocDoc. And is it ZocDoc or DocSoc? No, it's ZocDoc. So ZocDoc. And I got this because I made an appointment to go to a dermatologist the other day. And it was like, when I made the appointment, it was like, sign up, use this app, make your appointment, do all your paperwork up front, fill it all online. And then you have an app that has the appointment in it. Basically, it's a medical app that helps you make appointments and keep appointments and find doctors. But what I found great about it, both the online version and the app version, is when I arrived, I didn't sit there with a clipboard filling things out for 3 hours because I had done it all in advance.
Yeah.
And I filled out everything, and they had all my information. They had my medical. They had background. They had what I was there for. They had the insurance provider. And then it was just a really nice experience. And even I don't know if this is part of ZocDoc, but during the appointment, when we were doing things, they pulled out the iPad. They're like, sign here, initial here. It's all electronic. And I like that. Like, to me, that's the way things should go. I don't want to have paper. And I went to another thing the other day, and it was like, I walked in, they handed me, the clipboard, and they said, start filling that out. So anyway, ZocDoc, if you're a doctor, please use this type of stuff. If you're not a doctor, I don't know. It's a great, hopefully.
If you're not a doctor, well, who cares?
And with that, we'll end it. So you can follow us on Twitter, as always. Just Edelstein, Jason M. Atwood, Arkus Inc. We're on the Facebook, the Success Community, the Power of Us group hubs. We need to do another podcast next week to mention the summit we're in, the other summit we're in. Right. We will talk about that next week. LinkedIn, Google+, and as always, this is Justin and Jason saying, enjoy those cloudy days.